Hello, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is. I hope it's good for you. So let's start with the first story. So a girl in Egypt wanted to get married, and she was rich, she was good mannered, and she was religious. So basically the full package. So she decided that she wanted to get married, and a guy came to propose to her, and then she asked around about him. She was like, "Yeah, how is he?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, he's a good person and he get money, but like his religion is 50-50, not that good. It's fine. Eh." And then she was like, okay, not no, she refused him. She was like, I won't accept it, because she was religious, so obviously she wanted somebody at her level. And then the guy, he heard this. He was like, excuse me, you refuse me, basically. Paraphrasing. But like it probably was like that. He was like, oh, you refuse me? And he wouldn't accept it, and obviously ego involved and all that. So he went to a magician. And he was like, this girl, he wanted revenge. I want revenge on her. I want her to fall in love with me. And then the magician, he was like, okay, we only want this fee, this much money, not a lot for you. And then come back tomorrow and everything will be solved. Yeah, solved. And then he came the next time, or the next day. And then the magician told him, I couldn't, I'm sorry, but I will refer you. It's like when you go to the doctor and they refer, like, what's going on? And he was like, anyway, so the magician was like, I will refer you to somebody who taught me, better than me. And then the guy was like, okay, I go. And then he went to the other magician, and he was like, and he told him the same issue, like, I want her to follow me, I want to, break her spirit, like, me. I'm like, she. Okay, I will continue. And then the second magician told him the same story, like, come back tomorrow, small fee, it will happen easy peasy. And then he came back the next day, and it was the same issue. The guy told him, I'm sorry, I couldn't, but I will refer you to somebody who's better than me. I will give you a referral, go to him. He taught me. And then he was like, okay. And then he went to the other magician that taught him and was like, higher level than him. And the same thing happened again and again, until actually he reached what did he call him? The OG, the OG magician of that area, like the one who taught everyone in that area, the big magician, basically, the Oz of that area. So he told them the same story, and I was like, oh, don't worry, come back tomorrow, it will get fixed, everything will be perfect. And then he came the next day, and then the guy told him, the magician, the big wizard, he told him, no, we can't do anything for her. I sent the biggest of shayateen, the married. The married is like, how shayateen, they have different levels. You have these small ones, and then the biggest of them is the married, the strongest of them. And he was like, we even sent the married to her, and they couldn't do anything. Why? Because every day at night, so every night before she goes to bed, she reads Surah Al Baqarah. And that married would go, and he would try to harm her, but he would burn. So the magician told him, like, this person you can't touch. And that's the first story. Okay, the second story now, it's from a girl who also read Surah Al Baqarah daily. She said that her mom was bringing a maid to her home to help her. But the second the woman entered the home, she started to shake. Everyone was like wondering, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? But then the woman replied, this house I will not enter. And everyone was worried, like, what's wrong? Of course they were afraid, like somebody just comes to your home, and then they start to shake. And then the woman, like, she ran away after saying that, this house I will not enter. And then obviously everyone was fearful, like somebody just comes to your home, they start to shake, start to run away. What's wrong? Is it the smell? Okay. So that time it was afternoon time, so it was around Dhuhr prayer. So the girl, she said, I performed the prayer, the Dhuhr prayer, and then I went to sleep. And in my sleep, I had a dream. What was the dream? It was a dream about that woman who came to their home. So she came to their home, but she was holding something in her hand. She was holding a book. But the girl in the dream, she was thinking, this book, it's a book of magic. Ta-da! The third story is of a guy who actually, I think, either had magic or had issues in his family. So it was one or the other. So I think somebody told him to, or recommended to him, that he read Surah Al Baqarah daily, and he decided to read it 3 times each day. So he took his book and then he went to the living room and he went and sat and he started to read it every day 3 times on one sitting. And then he would sometimes, or he would notice, like in front of him on the wall, there was a hole. And that hole would get bigger and bigger each day. So he decided, okay, what's this? What's wrong? Is it rats? What's wrong? He went to check and there was a pouch inside, and it was obviously magic inside the pouch. For me, what amazed me about this whole story is actually that when he set the intentions, he went and Allah guided him to the place where he would be able to see the magic perfectly. Like, he could have chosen to go sit in the bedroom, he could have gone to sit in the, I don't know, dining room for some reason, and he could have actually chosen to sit in any other chair that maybe wouldn't allow him to see that wall specifically. But for me, that also taught me that when you even set the intention, before you even start, when you set the intentions, Allah guides you. So that was honestly one of, that actually story, I heard it years ago, and it stuck in my mind. It was wow, amazing. So this fourth story is of a girl who reads Surah Al Baqarah for almost a month now, but sometimes, she would be busy, so she wouldn't complete the whole thing, but she would try to at least finish it daily. So she said that she used to have negative thoughts all the time, and she used to imagine bad scenarios. For example, she would imagine her dad being angry at her for no reason, until she actually started to cry. But keep in mind, it was all imaginary, it was all in her. Then her dad would be maybe he would be good to her and nothing was wrong, but she would still have these negative thoughts, and she would also be moody, and she would be angry all the time, until she actually started to read Surah Al Baqarah, and she started to get better. And she even said that even her prayers, she started to extra voluntary prayers, and she would pray the night, and she would do tahajjud and all these things. Now to the fifth story. So a guy said that he's been trying to memorize the whole Quran for 13 years, but he couldn't. So he went to his friend and said, I've been trying to memorize the Quran, but I can't. Can you advise me? Do you have any advice? Tell me what to do. So his friend told him to read Surah Al Baqarah. Now the man got confused, why? I came to you to tell you I want to help me memorize. Why are you telling me to read it? And then his friend was like, no, just read it. And he was like, okay, I will try. And then he read it every day consistently. And the man said within only 4 months, he was actually able to memorize the whole Quran. So just to conclude, I want to mention some hadith. So from the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, do not turn your houses into graves. Indeed, Satan runs away from the house in which Surah Al Baqarah is recited. Another hadith is, for everything there is a pinnacle, and the pinnacle of the Quran is Surah Al Baqarah. If anyone recites it in his house during the day, no devil will come near his house for 3 days. And if anyone recites it in his house during the night, no devil will enter his house for 3 nights. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have any story that you would like to share, you can email it to and the email will be in the description box below. Bye.